Hello, everyone. Welcome into another edition of To The Point podcast. Everybody's doing well on this Thursday, and we are heading into or approaching another weekend, fast and furious. We got NFL playoffs, hockey's in full swing. Does Evander Kane get another job? We got the golf season, like I just said, and I want to get into a lot of different things today, a lot of different topics to get into. We'll even play a little game, one of the most creative things I've ever come up with that I'll unveil at the end of the podcast. But to join me today is great golfer. He can't wait. The simulators are just rocking because he's been playing them hard, playing them tough up in the Bathurst region. But Casey, good to see you, man, and thanks for coming back on again.
Oh, glad to be back on, Jug. I love coming on and talking all things sports, dropping some hot takes, and going from there, just shocking the world one day at a time. So
Yeah,
that's what we're all about.
yeah, you were riding high for a while with your Montreal Canadiens, and they've they failed you this year, my friend. They haven't shown you the love.
No, that love has not been reciprocated, to say the least. We watched last night. Me and Hill watched the game last night. That was a stomping. I think it was a 5-1 final.
Yeah.
So Marshy had 3 goals. It's not a good look for the Habs in Montreal. Pezzetta scored 2, I think. So I think he was the one that got shot with his own teammate. But yeah, it's not life's not good in Montreal. But looking to see if they can turn it around to be somewhat presentable, I guess, in the last half of the season.
Yeah, that's all I can hope for. And I'm sure Dominic Ducharme's maybe already looking at that to-go bag and wondering how long he's going to have to stay in his current residence. But we'll get to that later. Golf opened up last weekend, cases I know you're well aware of, and great tournament down in Hawaii. I know after seeing some of the temperatures this week here in New Brunswick, I was some envious to not be down there. But what were kind of your takeaways from the course and from the players who hadn't played in a really long time that just absolutely destroyed that golf course?
Yeah, it was nuts. Like the Century tournament, I find is always a good event. The course always seems to be in pretty good shape, and I don't know if it's always the strongest field, but it seemed like it was a lot of competition this week. This previous week. Cameron Smith was unreal, just shooting lights out. I mean, to go minus 35 through 4 days is, that's crazy. And I gotta pump up my boys' tires on Saturday. Course record 61. You love to see it. I'm pretty sure.
Day.
What? Yeah, he lasted a day, but he was in the last place prior to the 61. So
right.
You gotta get a good cap. He ended up climbing his way back up the leaderboard. So not the best finish, but hey, he was up there I think he was in the top 10. I can't remember right off the top of my head, but
yeah, I think he finished right around there. Yeah, not 9 or 10. Yeah, he had a good week. Struggled Thursday, but it's the first tournament of the year. The fact that you said that Rahm and Smith played as well as they did in all 4 days was just incredible. And Matt Jones shot a 61 on Sunday and was a stroke off too. So these guys were just dialed in. As we go into this new season, there's always a player that seems to jump at us. A few years ago, we got introduced to Victor Hovland, and Matthew Wolff looked like he was going to take a step, and he had some personal mental issues that he had to deal with. Is there anybody that, played okay last year, but you could see really blossoming and becoming a top 15, top 20 golfer in the world at the end of this calendar year?
So I definitely think that there's a couple of guys that for me, I'm going to be looking at more seriously this year. Last year, I wasn't too sure why this guy made the Olympic team and he ended up winning the gold medal. Schauffele, I underestimate his game, and for me, I think he gets it done so quiet, but he's got so much skill, just like everybody else on the tour. But he's got that kind of mental side to him that he can kind of get the kind of silent it down there kind of for the last couple of holes, like that last final hole, 3-hole stretch, 16, 17, 18. If you're calm and composed on those holes, like Cameron Smith was the last weekend, then it's money in the bag. So I think Schauffele's a good one, and then I'd like to see if Cameron Champ can kind of have a comeback. He pounds the ball. He hits it so hard. Off the tee, I think he's one of the better players, and then after that, I think he kind of struggles. So it seems like he needs to work on tightening the game up off the tee, and then off the fairways and rough and getting it onto the greens. But other than that, I think those are my two guys I'd like to see have a good run this year. How about you?
Yeah, Champ's an interesting one because, like you see, he's kind of like Bryson. He just hammers the golf ball, and I think he might have finished first last year in distance through the whole season because him and Bryson were right there, but they hit it 340, 350 off the tee every time. I went with Garrick Higo, and this young lad won a tournament last year, but it was seemingly out of nowhere. But he's a good golfer. I think he can be in contention, compete for tournaments, and I think we'll see his name at the top of the leaderboard more and more often, just because I think he's a really, really solid player. And I also think that I'd be surprised if Victor Hovland does not win a major this year. I think he's that good. I don't know if it'll be Augusta, but we've seen guys win it their first time there. Morikawa did it a couple of years ago. Hovland is just he's money. If he can have a good Thursday, it's like John Rahm. You need to have a good first day. If you're right in the pack, he's good enough to play well the last 3 days. So he's a guy for me that I'm keeping my eye on to win a major this year.
Yeah, I think John Rahm's got a major in his bag this year. It's all about getting into that cut line. You get inside that cut line the first 2 days, and you kind of have a little bit of room to work with on Saturday, and then Sunday you just come out and play unreal like Rahm is capable of. Then, I mean, it's definitely he could win the Masters, he could win the U.S. Open. Doesn't matter. I could see him definitely winning a major this year. Where do you see Hovland winning if he wins a major?
I think they're playing at St. Andrews this year, which is an interesting course. I think it favors the way he plays because he's a guy that can bomb it off the tee too, but he really doesn't have a weakness. We look at Morikawa. Morikawa is a really good player, but he's not a great player off the tee. He plays it surgically really well. That's why I think Morikawa he has a good chance to win the Masters because you don't need to. If you try, look at how Bryson plays there. He never comes close to winning at Augusta, as you know.
Yeah.
So I don't know if Augusta is his perfect course, but St. Andrews is a long course. It'll likely be crappy weather because it's July in London. So he's used to that. He's played in those conditions before. I could see him winning one in Europe, and obviously him being from Norway, repping that one for the European side.
Yeah, no doubt. That's definitely a good pick for sure. I have that feeling too, like just with the way that Morikawa has been playing and the way that he's kind of showed the world that he's become one of the elite long iron players with proximity to the hole from 150 yards plus. Like that's unreal. So for him to just pick his way around Augusta, that to me is a strong pick. And like I had written my notes here. I had another possible guy there is my boy JT. He's finished fourth in the 2020, and I think every time that you play there, I think you take things away, and you add that effect to the Augusta National, and some of the holes might play, the more mental side of it. And I think that's what JT has to kind of overcome. He always relies on Tiger a lot, and I think he's kind of just got to stray away and kind of do his own thing and play his own game. But I like either one of those guys to win that Masters this year, which I think we're about 80 some days away. So it's can't wait.
Yeah. You talk about Morikawa and just what he does from the green, just when he hits it off the tee, it's not far, but then he can hit it within 3 feet of the hole, seemingly impossible. more difficult to hit a driver and keep it on the fairway, or is it more difficult to do what Morikawa does?
See, I would have to say, like, just based on my game, I would have to say that hitting the green that consistently is
Right.
the hardest part. Like, I can get away with playing. Well, I don't really hit as many drivers as I normally would if I'm playing like on our Monday night league. I don't hit as many drivers. I'll hit more hybrids or longer irons off the tee so that I'm not in trouble. And I find whenever I do that, I always end up putting myself into trouble more. So it's tough. Like you can try and pick your way apart and have your strengths. Like I like to try and play my under 100-yard shot to get to the green, but it's hard to hit a iron 280 and then have to hit a 60-yard pitch shot or something. It's tough to do that, but hey, these guys are pros, so it's definitely capable. And I'd like to see if it's possible for some of these guys to just kind of plug away like how Morikawa does.
Yeah, he's fun, and the fact that he's already won 2 majors at this young of age is just an incredible feat. Let's talk about Bryson for a minute. He is still the talk of the town. Didn't play great last weekend in Kapalua. Could you see a season where Bryson really struggles and he kind of just falls off and he's just another guy? We've seen him bulk up. He's won a major. He's done some good things. But do you think he'll stay as consistently good as he has been the last couple of years on tour?
See, I don't know, because it's like I'm just basing it off of like what I've seen and everything that I look at on social media, and the trajectory that he looked like he had before he went into the long drive was, I thought he could like we seen him hack away at the US Open, and we seen him come away with that win. So I definitely don't write him off, but just the way that I think the long drive kind of hinders his game because it takes away, because he tries to swing every club 110%. So I don't know. And at some point, like, numbers kind of just have to go out the window. You know what I mean? Like, Who cares if you're hitting 235 ball speed? If you're going to hit it 320 to the fairway and then hit a 100-yard shot 6 inches, then who cares? It's a birdie either way. If you hit it 450 or 350, doesn't matter. That's what I think. So I got a question for you on Bryson.
Okay.
So he's one of the longer bombers in the PGA.
Yeah.
So do you think on some of the courses, do you think it is possible for Bryson to hit a hole-in-one on a par 4? Do you think that that's maybe in the possibilities? Because that'd be something.
I can't say no, because I've seen him drive the green. So if you can drive the green, you got a shot, because who the hell knows? You get it on there, it might roll. A hole that if he could figure out this hole, because he stinks at it, but it just comes to mind. Hole 1 at Augusta. He could hole-in-one that hole easily, yep. I think, because he got it on the green last year in one of the holes, but then he somehow bogeyed it, which again, you touched on his weaknesses of his game. But that one, I'm thinking of what's the course? It's course in the Bay Area. Really great course. Not Torrey Pines. Anyway, it's gonna come to me in a minute. It's bothering me. Jim Nance lives like right on the course. It'd be beautiful anyway. And there's a couple holes there. I think he could do it, but I can't say no, because if you can get your ball on the green, then yeah. I mean, what we saw last year, remember when he hit twice, he hit the ball over the water? That was incredible. Like that was nuts. And people were going crazy. And I do think he could regress, but that would be a terrible, terrible thing for golf, because you need your villains. You need your people that you don't like. And honestly, Koepka and DeChambeau kind of being friendly is terrible for golf too, because you need something. Not everybody in golf can be a good guy. You need your Patrick Reeds. You need your DeChambeaus to keep it interesting. And I worry that the golf is losing that, with DeChambeau kind of becoming a sympathetic figure a little bit.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of the whole Bryson and Brooksy friendship. I was on
Yeah.
that train, like where they both hated each other. I love that. I thought it was awesome for the game. Like it's um, like everybody's obviously a good guy on the golf course. Even if Patrick Reed cheats, he's still a good guy on the golf course.
Yeah, it's
Like,
like Seamus.
yeah, exactly. Fluff up the lie.
Yeah.
Foot wedge here, foot wedge there. It doesn't matter. It's just you know what you're gonna get when you're with certain guys in the groups, and for the PGA not to put these two guys together at least a little bit more often. Like,
Yeah.
come on.
Yeah.
And then just like for instance, you see two guys like Bryson and Brooksy that have like an actual not they're not friends. They don't like each other. They had to hug on national television when they won the President's Cup for show.
Mhm.
And then you have two guys like Tiger Woods and Phil that go out and play a Capital One match for whatever, and they can't even string together 4 birdies throughout the whole day. So like you have two guys that actually don't mind each other and go out and shoot the shit, and then two guys that hate each other just spew on social media. Like I just don't see like there's missed marketing there. I feel so.
Mhm.
I don't know. I think Bryson. I don't know if he'll fall off the world this year. I'd like to see him hit a hole in one on a par four. I would go nuts for something like that,
Yeah.
especially if you watched it live. It'd be
Mhm.
just even more crazy. So we're gonna pray for something like that. I don't really care if he wins or not, but I'll pray for a hole in one.
Day one Augusta, Thursday morning, just
Yeah,
bomb it. Find some
bright and early.
yeah, three
Bright and
under,
early.
right from the go. Um, that would be a hell of a story. But yeah, I think Rory could potentially become a little bit of a villain because people don't like him for some reason. I don't know why. I've never really had a hatred for the guy, but he does get PO'd. I think Spieth is a guy that has potential because he snaps on the golf course and he loses it. Like if I was his caddy, I'd tell him to tell that stiff to take a walk because my God, the way he butchers his caddy. But I think Spieth and McIlroy are two guys that I don't know if they'll hate each other, but maybe they'll be like, okay, I don't like him, and
Mhm.
that'll cause some added motivation, some added hatred for this golf season.
The Rory thing, I think, is like he's a well. You said he's a snap show, right? Like he's
Yeah.
known to kind of lose it. I've seen a couple of things this year. I've seen he ripped his golf shirt. He tore the neck right out of his golf shirt, had his chest wide open. Had to go sign his score sheet like that. People got pictures of him, and I think it's so funny because golf is a frustrating game, and these guys are professionals, and they're just like you and I, but they can hit a golf ball perfectly. Like
Mhm.
it's it's just emotion gets the best of you sometimes, and same with Spieth. I think of Spieth like at highs and lows. I think of him at his highest when he threw his wedge at Greller there coming out of the out of the bunker. So I don't know. I think that they both have potential to be those kind of villains, and I'm not going to say no to it. I'm still going to cheer for Spieth because he's a tightless guy, and I just love that. So it is what it is.
He's repping your brand.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm repping their brand.
Uh,
They're
you're
getting
bought in.
residuals.
Yeah. Um, Justin Thomas. You said he had
My
a
boy.
good 61 last weekend, starting the year. I think last year, right before the golf season, you had him winning 3+ tournaments.
Yeah,
That was the over under. He won one.
he hit the under.
Yeah. So, what's your prediction this year? Justin Thomas tournament wins. What are you thinking for 2022?
So I got 2 wins. It's down from last year,
Yeah.
but I think like just based on like where if he plays in Augusta and he does well, I think going into Sunday, I think he has a chance to win a major there. Um, and he's won the PGA, so he's got experience like with high end golf and trying to close it out in the last couple of days. So I don't write him out for the Masters. I'd love to see him in the Scottsdale, the Phoenix Open. I
Mhm.
love that. That's besides the majors. I would have to say that is probably one of my favorite events
Yeah.
on
The
tour.
waste management.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Like I pray that they have fans there and like
Oh, they will. It's
stadium.
Arizona.
Oh yeah, Viva la life, down there.
Yeah, I agree. It's such a beautiful course. It's always so well taken care of, and yeah, that would be a fun one to go watch. If only the hockey team was worth going down to watch too, then you could really make it a real trip. I guess you go watch the Suns, but you don't like basketball, so
Sick league.
yeah. Well, I guess if you're a non-Leaf fan like yourself, the Coyotes are your favorite team today.
Yeah, Ryan Dzingel is my favorite guy in the world.
It's a big night for Ryan. He's back in the NHL. Who knew?
Inaugural 33rd team.
Yeah. No, this golf season should be fun. You said Sony Open this weekend. They're still in Hawaii. Those lucky you know what's. As we currently sit, we got Tyler Duncan 4 under, Kramer Hickok 3 under, Maverick McNeely 3 under, a lot of Harry Higgs 1 under, Roger Sloan, Tiny Answer, Webb Simpson. So some Cam Smith will look to win back-to-back. He's in this field. Joel Dahman, one of your favorites, is in the field here. Sanjay Kokrak is a sneaky good player. He always seems to find his way at the top of leaderboards. So not a loaded field, but should be a good weekend of golf at the Sony Open down there in Hawaii. Let's pivot to, I know it's a tough subject for you, but let's talk about the Cleveland Browns. And I had high hopes for your Brownies too. I had the Bucks Chiefs going a Super Bowl rematch, but I said if I'm thinking, okay, I'm not thinking with my head. If I just think, okay, I like these teams, I went with Cleveland and I went with the Rams. Rams make the playoffs, they could be out in 4 days. Cleveland doesn't even make the postseason. Just kind of give us your, as a new NFL fan, as a new Brownies fan, what were your emotions like the past couple weeks with the whole team and in particular Baker Mayfield?
Well, it was tough, I started watching football 2018, so a year after, the year that Baker was drafted. So
yeah,
he's been the only QB I've rooted for. So I don't really have that I can cut the cord quick. I don't have I can sell my soul pretty fast.
right.
So to me, that's not the issue. He had a lot of problems this year. COVID, he had injury issues since week 2, and he's just been plagued the whole year. So I don't think he had a fair look. The staff said he was good to play. I mean, you can only have so many things wrong with you every game, like, torn labrum, sore feet, COVID. Yeah. It doesn't make a difference. At the end of the day, they're all excuses. They're saying they're bringing him back. I can see why. He still got a couple. They just have to extend him. If he has a good year, then hey, that extension's coming. If not, see you later. But
Right.
I'd be surprised to see if they bring in someone new for the new year. But my biggest thing this year was watching Chubb and trying to learn more about the defensive side of the game. And I like watching that Myles
Garrett.
Yeah, Myles Garrett. He's awesome. But
yeah,
it was a tough year.
It was tough. It was definitely tough. I like Baker too. I don't think he's a elite quarterback, but I do think he's better than what he played like this year. I want to see him healthy again. But however, I do think there's something we have to address, and it's something I've already apologized for on the podcast. I was wrong. I said Baker would be better when Odell Beckham Jr. was traded, and you texted me right after the trade, and you were very excited. You said good riddance Odell, and then the first game with the Rams, you were saying he sucks, he's garbage, he's washed, and well, he caught 4 tubs. I don't know if Baker threw 4 tubs in the last 4 weeks. So what do you got to say for yourself regarding Odell and the way you spoke so negatively about him?
You know what? I get that, sometimes you gotta, bite the bullet and you say these things and you can't take them back because they're out there. But you know what? I'm gonna put my head down. I'm gonna say, "You're welcome, OBJ." I said, "You suck." I said it live on To the Point.
You did, yeah.
Heard it. It got out there, and he went off when he went to the Rams. He said, "Hey, these guys are talking shit, and we got to perform." So the Rams are in the playoffs. They could be out in 4 days, and they could be right. He could be just as bad as I said, but he just went to a better team, and their QB was healthy, so that could be it. But sometimes you just need that little pick me up, and I think that's what I was for OBJ. And hey, I'm here. The Browns are out. Just got to ride the wave.
Well, that's not what I expected to hear from you. That's giving yourself a lot of credit. And but hey, it is what it is. Yeah, I expected more from your Browns. One thing I think they need to figure out is Baker is a good quarterback, but he's one of those quarterbacks that's better when you use the run game. So how about when you play Green Bay in Lambeau, when you're getting 6 yards a carry, how about run the ball? How about don't run it 6 times in a half? That just sounds crazy concept, and I'm no offensive coordinator here, but 6 yards a carry, it only takes 10 to get a first down. So if you're doing that every play, you get a first down every second play. Nick Chubb's a stud. Kareem Hunt battled through injuries, but Stefanski deserves a lot of this blame too, because he was just, okay, your quarterback's banged up. How about don't throw the ball 45 times a game? Like, just how about it was baffling to me the whole year watching it happen.
No doubt. Like I wouldn't call myself a genius by no stretch of the word, but if your quarterback has that many injuries,
Yeah.
and you're gonna throw the ball endlessly, and it's turnover and turnover and turnover, and you have chances to ice the game like the last 3 minutes, like for me as a new football fan, I sit at the edge of my chair, especially the last couple weeks, especially the game I think it was against the Raiders.
Yeah.
Where they lost by the kick at the end.
Monday night, yeah.
Oh my God, man. I was in awe. There's misery here. Misery. It was awful.
So watching football, how has it gotten close to hockey for you when it comes to one of your favorite things to watch? Sports.
I would I kind of like to have that Monday night and Thursday night reserved. Sunday, I'm not usually around the television at 2:00. I try to be, but it's tough.
Right.
With the lockdown and stuff, it would have been perfect. So we got some football on the horizon this weekend, and hey, we're fired up for it. So
yeah.
I would still say though it's like close. It's hockey's still right here, and football is just a little bit below. I'm still not as fond of I'm still not up to date with all the rules and everything, so I still got a little bit to figure out. But
right,
I like it.
We'll get you there. We'll get you there.
To the point, I don't doubt it.
Yeah, I don't talk about it at all. So that's you'll never hear it from me. Any playoff predictions for you? Super Bowl pick, kind of any predictions you have this coming weekend? Any teams you really feel good about? Players? Any predictions for you coming up?
Should I put into the universe that OBJ is not going to have a day and then he goes off on Monday night? Or
if you want him to play well, or you could say he's going to be great and then he's going to stink. Reverse psychology.
I think the game I'm most looking forward to, I think, is probably for some reason I like the Bengals Raiders and the Pats Bills. I like that those two games. I think that the Pats and Bills is going to be just it's going to be a tough game. I think both of them had unreal years. Mac Jones was good this year, and Josh Allen I think is unreal, especially if they're playing in Buffalo, right?
Yeah.
So it's going to be a little chilly down there, I'd say. So they're going to be in for one, I think, for the first set. I think that's on Saturday too, right?
Yep, Saturday 9:00.
Jackpot.
And I think it's going to be about minus 24 degrees Celsius in Buffalo.
I don't have a exact quote on what the temperature was yesterday or the last 2 days, but I can tell you that I maybe spent 15 minutes outside total.
Yeah.
No, not for me.
I don't know the exact temperature, but I can tell you what majority of people are thinking. It is fucking cold.
Yeah.
I think that was said a few times over the province. Any Super Bowl prediction for you? Any team you like to go all the way?
I'd like to see. Oh, I'd kind of like to see the Bengals go on a ride, but they're a division rival, so
Yeah, it's tough.
uh,
Joey B.
Steelers they can just rot. I'd like to see if Tom's going to go on another run, another year, the Tom Brady Bowl.
Yeah.
Him and Pat Mahomes are facing off again.
Yeah, that's what I predicted that at the beginning of the year, so I have to stick with that now. I don't feel as good about the Chiefs. I still feel good about the Buccaneers. But who knows? I mean, you got Green Bay's the number 1 seed. You got Tennessee and the AFC, which is just a crazy story that they ended up getting the number 1 seed after all the injuries and after all they went through this year, losing King Henry.
Mm-hmm.
Should be a fun playoff as we get close to it Saturday afternoon with your Bengals playing the Raiders. So some good stories. We just mentioned OBJ, all in good fun. We poke at OBJ, but we like him. I think we both sit down and have a cold Pepsi with him if he wanted to.
I don't know.
No? Okay. We'll move on.
Questionable.
Yeah, we'll push. Okay, we'll push. Let's get to a guy that nobody really likes, for lack of a better term, and that would be one Evander Kane. And this guy, I've talked about it a few times, but he's full of content. This guy, at first you're like, okay, he left Buffalo. Well, it can't be his fault. He left Buffalo, even though Ryan O'Reilly seemed to like push him out the door with his F-150. But you're like, okay, he departed Buffalo. And then he goes to Winnipeg. Couldn't get out of there quicker. I remember at the time, there's even some reports, well, it's because Evander Kane is black. And I said, okay, that's quite an accusation. But then it came out that Dustin Byfuglien, another black player, hated him more than anybody. So that kind of debunked that. So his, that the camaraderie didn't work there either. Goes to San Jose. It works for a couple of years, got a big deal. Great player when he wants to be. But then he gambling, files Chapter 11, reports of domestic abuse with his wife. She says he was throwing games. So you think, oh my God.
Yeah.
Then, no, it's not done yet. He comes up with a fake vaccination card, tries to travel to Canada with the said vaccination card. And finally, San Jose says, okay, enough. We're cutting you. We don't want to pay your salary. He's going to file a grievance. We'll see how that goes. But I just went through a laundry list. This could be 3 people's lives. This is this one guy, and I think he's 31 years old. Casey, if you were running a team, would you sign Evander Kane?
I'm going to say not a chance. And like the crazy thing is, out of all the teams in the league, 32, only 31 of them will have a chance to sign him because San Jose's not gonna.
No.
They're walking. They're gonna say yes.
Bring him back.
Yeah, that would be the dumbest thing ever. So they brought him back just to pay his salary. But I can't believe the rumors of him possibly going to Edmonton. Like that's what the biggest speculation is. I can't confirm on the age of Evander Kane right now. He's definitely 20. He's definitely in his 30s, I would say.
Yeah, I think he's in his 30s.
He was in the league when Atlanta was in the league, so he's got to be up there.
He'll be 31 in August.
So he's 31. He's got all these issues, and he's bankrupt. So he's got all these issues, and you want to bring him into Edmonton, where you got Connor McDavid and Leon Draisaitl, the two-headed dragon, trying to chug up a storm on a slumping Oilers team. Just found out they got Smith out for another week with a thumb injury. I don't think it's a good idea to bring him in. Not there. Maybe if you want to bring in someone that's kind of like controversial, maybe Josh Hosang, try and get him from Toronto. Like, he'll miss a curfew or something. He'll miss a team meeting. It is what it is. But I'd say he's got less game experience, less kind of all the intangibles that Evander Kane has. But I think Hosang can kind of turn it around. Like, I kind of think that Kane's set in stone, and he's just.
Josh Hosang,
he's not bad for the Marlies. So
he is. You know, he's the Islanders' favorite son. They loved him down there. But he's played all year at the Marlies. You haven't heard him complain about it, so I give him credit for that. I don't think you'll get an opportunity in Toronto just because they're winning and they have a deep roster until last night. But I couldn't sign him either because I believe in second chances, but I don't believe in 19th chances.
No.
And it's one thing to go bankrupt. Okay, you have a gambling addiction. You can overcome that. But domestic abuse, okay, that's tough. That's a tough one to get past. How about the fact that every teammate he seems that we've had hates the guy? It's well known. It's even been talked about on shows I've listened to that around the league, Evander Kane is just not well liked. He's just known as just a bad person. And it's hard to bring a person with that title, with that demeanor, with that, with people thinking, hey, this guy's just a bad dude, into a locker room and expect Connor McDavid, who isn't exactly the most vocal leader in the world. He's pretty, I lead by my play. Well, how long is it going to take before Evander Kane does something that crosses the line, and who's going to stand up to him? Because nobody's been able to get into his head, since.
Yeah, and that's like with Connor being like a leader, like, here's my gameplay. This is how I'm going to do. Put the troops on my back, and this is how I'm going to go. But it's not panning out for them right now. You can see they started off so hot. I was on podcasts early in the year when the hockey season started. I think they were second in the division, and they were on fire. Nothing could have been better in Edmonton, and now it's their third last in the division, right behind Calgary, I think. So it's a tough look. Bringing in someone like Kane is just, to me, it just baffles my mind, because you have something that you could possibly build around, like with Draisaitl and Kane McDavid with the right pieces. And to me, just bringing in someone with a laundry list that you mentioned is not you're not going to go anywhere as productive with that. And even if he is looking for a second chance or a 31st chance, I mean, I don't see him being a beneficial aspect to any winning hockey team. That's just. And
I wish he was just a better guy, because he's such a good hockey player. Like he's right in that my unicorn category with my I know you love this type of player too. Tommy Wilson. You got your guys like the big man. That look at a guy like Anton Lundell in Florida. He's right there for me. He's starting to really play well. Obviously, Kachuk. Josh Anderson's having a tough year. I still love him. Not getting off that train. I'll never bury that young man. But yeah, would he play well with Connor? Yes, but who doesn't?
Everybody would.
You need guys that could play well on their own, and maybe Kane could, but maybe he does for 3 weeks, and then on the 4th week he's out. Who knows what he's doing? He's ripping his jersey off like AB.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know what to think about it in Edmonton. It's just crazy. I wish that they could figure it out. You know what I mean? Like, you almost feel bad for Connor McDavid, and you feel bad for Leon Draisaitl that they have to deal with, Smith as their number one, Koskinen. You know what I mean? Like Koskinen says back after Tippett says that they played like shit, and he's like, it's not my fault. I can't score goals. Like he's like, like it just seems like it's a tire fire there, and like this is just my opinion, but it does not look like Connor's having any fun.
No,
he don't smile, and
Look at his presser yesterday when he had to talk about Evander Kane. For somebody that was kind of defending him, he did not look excited to talk. He looked really kind of depressed. He's just like, okay,
yeah. That's what I mean. Like it seems, I don't know if it's like that every press conference, but like from the few that I've watched, I think I might have watched maybe 3 or 4 of his pressers, and like he doesn't smile at all. Even if he had 4 or 5 points that night, he's just so monotone. And he's like, I'm not going to say he doesn't have a personality, because he might very well. It's just he's depressed that he's on right now. Yeah. But yeah.
Have you ever been on a team where you're having individual success and maybe you're winning at a certain time, but you kind of know in the back of your head that we're not good enough to win the league or to win a tournament, and it can kind of seep in and create a negative surrounding for the whole team?
I don't think, no. I feel like I wouldn't say that I've ever personally excelled while a team. I never, like, I wasn't the top gun or the big piece on any team I was on. I feel like there's a couple of guys when I was with Rosse that were like that, and like I think they had the ability to change the game, but if they weren't feeling it that night, then it definitely wasn't their time to shine, to say the least. But it's just like that. Everyone has an off night, and I think it just depends on like how the swing of everything goes, I guess.
I just think it's tough when you look at a team and you're like, okay, I'm great, but the rest of these guys aren't. And look at the bottom of Edmonton's lineup. It's so thin, and they're full of just journeyman guys that the Brendan Perlini's, Kyle Turris, it's thin. They need somebody that you could rely on. I think Ho-Sang would be interesting, but again, it's bringing in a guy that's unproven, at the NHL level. They need somebody that they know can definitively play, but this team has so many issues. Goaltending. I look at their back end. It's still, after Nurse, it gets thin. They miss Ethan Bear. Evan Bouchard, God love him. I've never been a fan. You could talk to me back to the World Junior days. I didn't think he was going to be a great player. He played like 25 minutes a couple weeks ago, and he was god awful in the game. I said, how do you play half a game? He's brutal out there. But I just don't see the Oilers being in a position to compete for a cup, by the end of the year. It'd be honestly more of a fight for them to make the playoffs.
Yeah, no, I'm on that train too. I'm not seeing them be like, they started off so hot, and like everybody that starts off hot, you're like, oh, this is going to be the year that they could go on a big run. Toronto does it every year. I mean, that's just the reality of it. They start off, like, Edmonton was so good the start of the year. They went, I think they had 19 points in their first 25 games or something like that. Or I don't know if that math adds up. I don't know. But moral of the story is that they were hot. And the reason I say someone like Josh Ho-Sang, I know he's unproven, and I get that argument 100%. But the only reason I have him kind of coming in is because him and McDavid are both BioSteel guys. They're both with that.
I think they're buddies.
Yeah, they are. I think they are too. So, you have that little chemistry with someone like that. You can't say that Josh Ho-Sang doesn't have elite skill. I mean, he is playing in the AHL. He's got 18 points in 25 games. It's still, I'd say it's still the second best league in North America. So it's possible that he could climb his way into roster spot if Edmonton sees a trade or something like that. But I don't see Edmonton making the playoffs, even if they will their way in. I don't see it being a long run if they do.
Yeah, I think it's for sure Evander Kane's going to get signed. It'll be interesting to see if it's by Edmonton. It's just crazy that these guys get their 19th chances. But I'm sure he'll be on a team come next week. So, kudos to him. He's doing something right, I guess, for teams to keep opening the door for him. A guy who is going to return to the net tonight is Tuukka Rask. He signed a deal with the Boston Bruins, backed up last night. Will make his first start of the season tonight against the Philadelphia Flyers. Boston's red hot right now. They're playing, Brad Marchand is on
Unreal.
a tear. Hat trick last night, shorthanded goal. Monday night against the Caps, he had a great night. Is Boston starting to play well? Rask is back. Do you like Boston to get back into the playoff mix and potentially get in that mix of the Atlantic Division, top three there with the two Florida teams and the Maple Leafs?
Yeah, I think Boston's definitely in a spot where they can definitely play devil's advocate in that Atlantic Division.
Mm-hmm.
Like they could definitely. I would like to see that the two Florida teams finish, 2 or 3, or 1 and 4, so that they have to play each other. You know what I mean? So it's because I just want to see the best hockey. Like I don't have a preference. I just want to see like the best games. So for me, if that's Toronto, Boston, and that's what it is. If it's Tampa, Florida, that's what it is. Like I just want to see rough games, especially in the playoffs. Tuukka, I think he could be something with this already red hot team. Like you said, Marshy's been on fire. He kind of just owning the league right now. Hat trick, stealing pink cowboy hats off the Nets last night. I don't know. I think it's all awesome. Plus, with all the media attention around him and Maroon the other day, I think that's awesome. It's good for the game. I just love all that stuff, like the mic'd up stuff and everything is awesome. I would like to see if Tuukka is going to be that thing that gets them over the edge, though, because I think that they might need another piece on the back end.
Yeah, I don't disagree. I think I think a guy in high demand across the league, and a team like Toronto, I think, will be wanting to get this guy. So Boston doesn't. Is Josh Manson in Anaheim, and maybe it'll be tough for them to trade him because they'll be in a playoff position, and they've been a great story. But he's a defenseman I like a lot, and I think he's a guy that both teams could use. He's physical, tough brand of hockey. I think he fits the Boston model. And I do think Toronto could use him because they don't exactly have a top back end, and Muzzin has struggled this year. Hall is more of a third pairing guy. I think they need some depth back there. But I agree. Tuukka's a great goalie. I've been tough on him because I think he quit in the bubble when he went home and his kid had a nosebleed or whatever happened there. But again, I'm not a parent. I said that last night on the podcast, but I don't plan on ever being one. So that I'm going to have this opinion till I die. But he is a great goalie, and it would be special for him to be able to put a bow on this career to get a cup, because he's been to 2 cup finals when Tim Thomas obviously won it in 2011, but 2013, 2019, he loses both of them in that Game 7 heartbreaker to St. Louis at home. I think it would mean a lot for him, for his legacy, to get a ring for the Boston area, because he's never been that big of a fan by the Boston crowd.
Yeah, it seems odd too, because when you look at just based on like my memory, Tim Thomas was loved down there for his crazy play. Just everything about Tim Thomas, I thought like Boston just loved everything about him. So to see the opposite for Rask, and I don't know if I would say that Rask was a better goalie than Thomas. I maybe would say, just without having the Stanley Cup success. But
Rask might go to Hall of Fame.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like when I look back at like my whole going over the whole hockey career and seeing guys come in and out of the league, he seems like one of the goalies that was like, he kind of just is a pin, like he's going to be like up there for Hall of Fame. So I think he's definitely could be the piece that gets them over Toronto and kind of messing around with Florida and Tampa. But I'm on Tampa's wagon, so
Yeah.
that's who I'm riding them hard for this year.
Three-peat down there.
Yeah, I'm big on the Maroon going 4 for 4.
Yeah. Corey
But
Perry, he wants another one. He's already got 10 goals on the year, which is incredible.
yeah, he's like, I don't know, he just seems to find a way to be productive. Like he goes to those hard-nosed places that some of the younger guys maybe don't want to go, and he just does his job and he plays his minutes, and he that's what he does. He gets in the face of other guys, and that's like the role that he plays.
Yeah, I love that he's having success and that, no team wanted him. And Tampa just scoops him up. I mean, how do you let him go to Tampa if you're the league? It's just mind-blowing, but that's the rest of the league for you. That's why they aren't winning titles and Tampa is.
Yeah.
Are you ready to play a little game that I like to call buy or sell?
Yeah, I got one question for you though. One last question about the NHL.
Okay.
So I mentioned the Maroon and Marchand beef, right?
Yes.
The I own you type thing, yeah.
Yeah.
So I was thinking
I've got 3 cups. How many do you got?
Yeah. So I was thinking about this, and like you could apply it to could apply it to Sidney Crosby and anybody else that has a cup, or you know what I mean? What would you like, even if you did Sid and Ovi, but it's funnier because it's Marchand and Maroon. What would you rather have? Whose career would you have? Would you rather have Marshy's, where you come into the league and win Stanley Cup right away, and you still are pretty dominant throughout the rest of your career, you make good money, and you are like your top player in the league, you scored 100 points, but then on the other side, you're Patrick Maroon, you can beat the big guy out of shape, you can get around the ice for 12 minutes a game,
right?
Look like you're just going to beer league and win 3 cups in a row. Like which one would you take?
That's a tough one.
Because Maroon probably got like 25 million plus. So
yeah, he's had a good bank in his career. Marchand's won a gold medal at the Olympics too. He's won a Stanley Cup. I think he's gonna go to the Hall of Fame.
I think so too.
If he doesn't, it's because people don't like him. So Aaron Rodgers treatment. I would probably go with. I like to win. I go with the big rig. Three's better than 1.
100%.
Marchand can have more money, but the big rig could sell one of those rings and be even amount in money with Marchand come the end of his career. So, yeah, I'm gonna go with the big rig. And you won cups, 2 different locales, 3 in a row. He's got a good story, and yeah, I think I'd go with the big rig. Yeah, yourself?
Yeah. Oh, I'm 100% on the big rig train. Like it's not even not even a question. Like the fact that you could crush chicken wings and then go to the Stanley Cup Finals Game 7 is like crazy. So that's all I need to say.
Yeah, no, amen to that. So this game is called buy or sell. It's very creative. Took me many hours to come up with this concept. It's very different, outside the box. You'll never hear anything like this. Perfect. So I'm going to give you a scenario and I'll read it off, and you can either buy that this is going to happen or sell it. So it's like a stock. You buy it or you sell it. And I got a multitude of different sports here, different topics, and we'll each give our takes along the way. Sound good?
Perfect. Yeah.
All right.
I'm all in.
Number 1, current world number 1, Jon Rahm, will finish the number 1 golfer in the world at the end of the 2022 season.
Yeah, I'm gonna buy into that one because just part of the reason why I'm gonna buy in is I've been seeing some stuff about the way that he practices, and like some of the stuff that have come out, especially with his club testing lately, where Callaway actually has been trying to get him into fitting for a new driver. Anyways, they try and get him to mishit a driver. Like, why would you try and mishit a driver beyond me? But
Yeah.
he had 10 balls in a row, and they were all within the same like fraction of a half inch on his, or not even a half inch, like as minuscule as you can imagine. He was hitting the same spot on his drive. So if you can do it like that, I think you have a chance at staying in the world number one for as long as Tiger maybe.
Yeah, I'm going to buy it as well. I expect him to win another major this year. He's too good not to. He finished second at this first tournament of the year after not playing for 2+ months. And he shot 33 under when he lost. So any other tournament, he wins it by 10 strokes. He's just too good. He's a good draw. He doesn't have a weakness to his game. I think he's the most consistent player on tour. He's always in the top 5. Like even when he hadn't won his major, he finally broke through. I'd be shocked if he doesn't win another one, and I just think he's the best player on tour. He'll battle with Morikawa. Maybe Morikawa will surpass him for a few weeks, but I think Rombo Cop will finish 2022 at world number 1. Number 2, buy or sell. Antonio Brown will play in the NFL again.
This is interesting because I don't see him being done. Like, and just based on some of the things that I've seen on social media this week about him saying that he's still good and he's looking to play football and all this stuff. And he didn't go on any like high end places to drop this information. He went on full send with Nelk, so it can't be. You can't take him too serious. But I'm gonna buy into it. I'm gonna say that someone will take a chance on him. Hopefully it's not. Hopefully it's not Cleveland. Just putting that out there.
Yeah.
I think he has a chance to, but I think I'm gonna buy into that he'll play on a football team.
Yeah, unfortunately, at first I said no when this first happened, because how do you quit on a team and then another team says, you know what's a good idea? Let's sign that guy.
Good for morale.
Yeah, that sounds like a real smart thing to do. But this is the NFL. It's about talent. And somehow quitting on your team, somehow not paying people, somehow, again, not being a great guy that's what you want. You just crave that. So he'll play again. And I honestly hate it because you're rewarding bad behavior. He's not learning anything. I think this guy may have early onset CTE, which is, brain injury. If you look it up on YouTube, if you haven't seen it, he got hit by Vontaze Burfict of the Bengals about 4 or 5 years ago across the middle in a playoff game. And it is one of the most deadly hits. It's dirty as hell.
Is that the one where Smith-Schuster got him back after?
Yeah.
I seen that hit. That
game was just a great game, but it was hell. But somehow it doesn't excuse bad behavior, but he'll be back. It's just it's sickening.
I got one for you after this. After you're done yours, I got one for you.
Okay.
Buyers. Yeah.
All right, go ahead. You got the next one.
All right. So on the topic of AB, do you see? Would you buy into him fighting one of the Paul brothers before the year's over?
Wow. Well, it would have to be Jake because I think the other one's Logan. He retired.
Oh yeah.
It would make sense for Jake Paul to fight Antonio Brown. He doesn't like to fight boxers. So that would make sense. I think Jake Paul will fight like an NFL/NBA guy before the end of the year. Might be. I heard Le'Veon Bell wanted to fight him, so there you go. Another ex-Steeler wants to fight him. I'm gonna say no. Ankle surgery. He'll want to play again, but if who the hell knows? I mean, Jake Paul probably is calling him up, Skyping him right now, saying, "Let's go. Let's get in the ring." And
yeah, I got the $1 million on for you.
Yeah, I got it. I got $1.5 million. Just show up and we'll dance around for a few rounds. I'm gonna say sell it, but crazier things have happened.
Yeah.
Yeah. I hate those Pauls. I just wanted to fight somebody competent and knock him the bleep out. But
I know.
number 3, buy or sell. Austin Matthews will win the Rocket Richard Trophy.
I'm gonna sell. I'm gonna sell on it. Yeah, I'm gonna
Okay.
say that Ovi's gonna catch fire the last half of the year, and he's gonna take it home.
Yeah, Matthews has got 23 goals in his last 26 games, which is pretty incredible, including getting one in his hometown last night. I think he's the best goal scorer in the world. He's on a team that scores a lot of goals. They got a good power play finally after last year's debacle. Um, I'll buy it because again, he's 23 and 26. I think Ovechkin will slow down a bit. I expect Toronto to be a better team down the stretch than Washington. I'm starting to see the cracks in their armor a little bit. So I think Toronto will have to play well the rest of the year too, because they're in a battle with Tampa and Florida. So they can't afford to fall asleep at the wheel. They need to play great hockey throughout. So I will buy that. Number 4, your Vancouver Canucks will make the playoffs. Buy or sell?
Well, Bruce, there it is gonna say we're gonna buy into it. We're gonna I don't have the standings up right in front of me, but I know
I'll get them here for you. I'll pull them
I
up.
know they're below the Oilers, and I think the Oilers are below the Flames.
So right now, Vancouver's 7th in the Pacific with 35 points. Edmonton has 38, 3 above them. Calgary is 5 points ahead of them. And then San Jose and LA, who are both tied for 3rd in that division, have 41. So they are right now 6 points out of a playoff spot.
Yeah, I wouldn't say that they're out. I would buy into that and say the way that the Pacific has been kind of trending. Vegas is set to get
Jack
Eichel back.
Eichel.
Yeah, that's gonna be dangerous. I'm gonna say that they have a chance to sneak in to the playoffs. It's not gonna be pretty, even if they do get in. But I'll buy into it, and on top of that, I'll say that I think the Canucks could be the highest ranked Canadian team in that division.
I think they have a good chance because I don't think the Pacific Division is very strong. I don't trust Calgary, having from day one. Don't trust Edmonton. We just detailed that. San Jose, they still have Erik Karlsson on that team. Yeah, so no, don't trust them. I love Timo Meier. Hurdle's a great player. I mean, James Reimer is playing pretty good hockey, which, kudos to him. But I don't think it's a good division, but I think they're too far back. I didn't love their team before. Their defense score still is a weak spot. So I'm going to sell it. I think Bruce has done a hell of a job, but I think it's too much to make up, and I don't think they have that strong of a team. So I think they'll come up a little bit short. Final one, buy or sell. Seamus Fillmore will break 95 next summer at a course near you.
I'm gonna buy into that.
Well,
1,000%. I would throw my keys on it, my wallet, everything.
wow.
I got faith in Seamus. And he took lessons too. He took lessons last year. You can't sleep on it. He took lessons. He said he's got to figure out a couple things. I'd say by at least late September. If we go to September 30th,
Yeah.
I'm gonna say that Seamus is gonna shoot at least one round sub 95.
My one worry about your September 30th little pick is that it gets a little cold that time of year, and he's not the toughest guy in the world. The cold kind of bothers him, so he's more of a mid-August kind of golfer.
Trust me, we just got to get it in before September 30th. So,
okay.
You could be out there in July and you could do it. And
I mean, he's my co-host. I have faith, obviously. I gotta back. I mean, yeah, I'm buying it, and I'm putting pressure on him right now. It better happen because I said it was going to happen. If you fail, I mean, we're gonna talk about it on the podcast, and it's gonna be broken down, and we might have to film around this summer. Maybe we get Blaine involved. Throw him a little GoPro on. He's wheeling around. He's skateboarding, and he's getting different shots of you guys chili dipping and fluffing the rough and any other kind of infractions that we will break down on the show. But I think that's something that needs to be looked into, and I think Blaine would be great with the little GoPro or a camera, and we'll just let him kind of wheel around, do his own thing, and see the coverage later.
Yeah, no doubt, for sure. That's a lot of pressure to put on the guy. I mean,
I have faith in him too. I'm buying it. So again, if he fails, it's more on him than on me.
Yeah. Hey, we're pushing for success, and that's what we're doing is, until the point you come on here to really strive to be better. You push your friends.
Yes.
You challenge them to places that they don't know if they can get there, but
they don't think they can, but we think they can.
Exactly. If we think it, hey, that's it. It's possible. So Seamus is going to shoot sub 95. I'm going to shoot sub
Dawson, like our good friend Dawson Warman. I have faith. I'm going to buy in that he can pick a good movie to watch. I haven't seen it yet, but I'm going to have faith that when he texts me sometime soon and he says, hey, watch this film, that it's not god awful. I have faith that he's going to one day, Casey, he'll do that, and if I sold that stock, I'd just be a bad friend, and it would just be a long life of him thinking, wow, I just watch crap all the time. I can't let him have that. I mean, come on. I don't crush streams. I try to promote positive vibes, and that's what we're doing here.
Yeah. Hey, worst day in New Brunswick, and we're on here spitting positive vibes.
See, I forgot about that for a minute. Now but before we get to that topic, let's just break before we get to that, because that's too negative. I'm selling that decision all day, every day. So we won't get into that tonight, but no. Casey, is always super fun getting to talk to you, man. Anything coming up for you work wise, personally, professionally, that you want people to know about?
No, not really. Just laying low, living the dream. Some would say it's a nightmare. I would say it's something in between. So you just got to be, you know what, actually there's something that I heard, and I've been living by it.
Okay.
So they say life is like a roll of toilet paper. You're either on a roll or you're taking shit from some assholes. So here's to being on a roll.
You heard
so
it
that's
there.
what I live by. Yeah.
Always a pleasure, Case, and we'll do this again real soon.
Absolutely, brother.
All right, everybody. Have a good night. Try to stay positive. Promote your friends. Don't believe in them. Buy their potential. Don't sell it. That's the goal today, and that's what we're talking about. So I'll be back to preview this weekend's NFL games later in the week. But until then, stay healthy, stay safe, and we'll talk soon.